But yeah, this is a lot different than it was 2013, 2018. A lot more engagement. This is not the Teamsters of old. This is not the UPSers of old.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston and Richard Hooker, Principal Officer of Local 623 in Philadelphia. And before we start it off, all you vote knowers, go ahead and leave your comments down below. Get it out of the way. We know it's coming. Now let's get into the video. So, I have a list of questions. This whole thing's been a roller coaster, a lot of high emotions right now. And just to let you guys know, our channel is remaining neutral. We're not pushing yes, vote yes. We're not pushing a vote no. We're here to give you information and let you decide. Because in the end of the day, it's your contract and you're going to have to work under it. So make sure that you know your rights. So the first question, I'm going to throw this to Greg. If the contract ends up getting voted down, what scenarios could happen?
Well, there's a couple different possibilities. They could call a strike immediately, which is possible, perhaps not likely, depending on how the vote turnout is. And then, of course, they would have to negotiate under those circumstances. Or they could simply go back to the table while we continue to work under the previous contract. Again, I think that would depend on circumstance, how the vote goes. And perhaps what they decide the major issue is, if there is one that needs to be negotiated. And then there's also the issue of the supplementals getting voted down, in which case I think it would be likely that we would continue to work while those supplements are, again, negotiated at the table to address whatever issues they have left. Ultimately, that is all going to be Sean's call. How that goes, but there's a lot of possibilities, and it's not over yet until everything's ratified and done. We're just in another phase of the game here.
And so, with the tentative agreement being released, what's the next step in all of this?
Well, the membership will get a chance to look at it after the officers of each local officials go down to DC on Monday to review it. I'm quite sure there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of concerns that will be addressed at this meeting. And also, I'd just like to add that make sure you're on the call from the IBT on Monday night. They're going to have a webinar about the tentative agreement. So please make sure that you are on that call. Because I know there is a lot of concerns and questions. So please get them answered. So after this tentative agreement is looked at and reviewed by the officers, it will be put out to the membership to vote. Voting begins on August the 3rd and will conclude on August 22nd. I believe it's going to be done electronically. So make sure you look out for that. Again, I'm quite sure more details will be on the way. So that's how the process works as of now.
And also, it may be a little bit late for this, but your address on file at the Union Hall is the address they're going to send it to. All right. Now we're going to talk about, to all the new people out there, because we're a bunch of old farts on this call, about how different the climate is to this contract compared to all the other contracts we've been through. So, Greg, how do you see it right now?
Well, it's certainly a very different atmosphere. There have been a lot of different ones in my time, and you guys have been here both longer than I have, even though I think I'm older, but I won't hold it against you. we've had situations where we're still more or less in the dark at this point, and we're just handed an agreement out of nowhere and told to vote on it. Certainly in 2018, there was sort of an instant need to build a movement to come out against the contract because of the 22.4 language and some of the other issues. This situation is definitely much more frenzied. People were much more involved from the get-go because of the contract campaign, because of the getting ready to strike, the practice picketing, all of those things. Our members were much more engaged, much more participatory. And so I think there's a lot more energy and emotion going on right now, whether it's yay or nay or just concerns. There's a lot of information bouncing around. And as Rich said, we're gonna be getting, the mass is going to form from the dust cloud, so to speak. There's a lot of information out there, and it's going to start to congeal. We're going to start to get what the accurate interpretations are. We're going to start to get some guidance from the people that were in the room about intent of the language. And so some of the gray areas are going to be ironed out. Not all of them. Some of them we're going to have to end up probably fighting with the company through the grievance process. But things are going to become more in focus as this goes on. So I would encourage everybody, when it comes to voting, don't vote on August 3rd. You got plenty of time. We have plenty of time. There were people that voted on August 3rd or whatever back in 2018 who didn't realize how bad some of that language was, and you can't take your vote back. It's a one-shot deal. So I would encourage everybody to, relax and read the stuff and get some information and get on that call, like Rich said, and, think about what you want to do and how you feel about this contract. And then you'll have plenty of time to vote.
Absolutely. And I second that. Please, please, please do not vote August 3rd. I mean, there may be some landmines in this thing, and we will reveal them if that's the case. But we'll shoot you straight, I've seen some good language in this upcoming contract, but we got to nitpick it and go through it and make sure that everything's clean. But anyways, Rich, I'm passing it to you. The climate, how different is the climate this go around?
A lot more active, more engaged. We could tell with the part-timers, they're kind of organizing in their own name right now for what they believe in. And I like to commend them for that. Regardless of what you feel about what they're saying, they're speaking in their own name. And that's something that we have always said the part-timers don't do. They don't do this, they don't do that. Well, now they are. So don't get mad with them because they're speaking in their own name and they have every right to do so. So shout out to them on that. But yeah, this is a lot different than it was 2013, 2018. A lot more engagement. This is not the Teamsters of old. This is not the UPSers of old. Gen X, Gen Z, they're making their voices heard, man, and they're not going to just sit around and take it, which they shouldn't. They pay union dues just like everybody else does. So I'm actually, I'm actually really impressed at the engagement part of it because it's a lot different from the 2013 situation, 2018 situation. A lot more involvement from the IBT, a lot more involvement from the locals, a lot more involvement from politicians and city and state activism getting involved. So this way has been a very good engagement process. So I think everybody involved should be commended for that.
I agree. In the end of the day, I know there's a lot of emotions going on right now. We see it online. I made a little joke about it earlier about the vote no thing. But in the end of the day, we need to hug it out and move on when this all is said and done and move as one yet again. Don't hold grudges because somebody voted one way and you voted another, because in the end of the day, we're all on the same team. Now, closing remarks. We'll throw this to Greg. I mean, how do you feel about all this?
Well, I think the the best way to me to look at it, like you just alluded to, you know, everybody's going to have their own opinion, and they should. And everybody's going to view this contract as a whole from their perspective, and they're going to have a vote, and that's as it should be. And the majority is going to rule this time. There's no more 2/3 rule. And I think that the process is going to play out how it plays out. But we have to understand that this is only half the game. And beyond this, regardless of what language we end up with, or if it's voted in, voted down, renegotiated, or whatever, we're all going back into work to fight this company. And we need to have the same unity when we go in the workplace that we had on the practice picket line. And we need to have the same enthusiasm and the same activism and the same, you know, don't drop back to the sidelines now. You know, the game isn't over. So I think if there's a way to sort of look past what we're doing right now and look towards the future, it's important that we do that in that sense and not let this be a, yeah, well, we did our thing, now let's go back to the daily drudgery. I think hopefully a lot of folks have learned that they have a voice, that they have the power, that they have the ability to change things, do things, make a difference. There's no question that what we did with the practice pickets and the videos and the activism and everything else, the news media interviews, is what got this deal done. And people should be proud of that. What, you know, strike or no strike, people should be proud of that. And people should learn from that and that success and take that going forward into the workplace.
Absolutely. Rich.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now is just a culmination of a lot of things of 2013, 2018, how UPS treat our members, the pandemic, the messaging for the last 2 years about, you know, how we're going to fight this company. And I think what you see now is that our members, they really want revenge for what UPS has done to them. This is not a shot at the IBT at no way, shape, or form. Our members are just, they're fed up with how they've been treated. And some of the stories that we've heard and witnessed, and even in my own local, you know, our members, they want something more than what money can give them. You know, the money in the contract is good, but there's something more that they want. And it's because of how UPS has treated them all through this whole process. So hopefully we can get to that. Money can't do it. This is something that only our members know. And hopefully if it comes to that, they'll get that.
So if you haven't done so already, add 623 Lives Matter, Facebook's, Instagram, everything else. I don't know if I should tell people that. The UPS contract group. Greg is getting hounded on there. So if you want to hound Greg, go to the UPS contract group. Actually, be nice to him, please. He's had a rough day. The other thing I was going to touch on is that all the videos that are coming out, we're coming out with so many videos next week, the next 2 weeks, basically just talking about every little piece of the contract that we can. So we're going to try to make these 5-10 minute videos specifically on what it's like in the new contract to be an RPCD, the 9.5 language, the 8-hour request language, the 223s, the part-timers, everything else. So you're going to see in the next couple weeks, you're going to see a lot of uploads coming from this channel. So keep your eyes peeled, and we're going to try to make them short and sweet and concise, so it'll help you decide on if this contract is right for you. Greg, shout outs. Who's your shout out tonight?
My shout out is going to go to all the UPS members. Regardless of how you feel about this contract or how you're going to vote on this contract, the reality is we have built an organization, a group, a movement, whatever you want to call it, over the course of the last year that took on a international multi-billion-dollar company, and basically got them to cave in a matter of minutes, last week, because they couldn't handle the heat that was coming from us, and that's a pretty darn impressive thing, and people should be proud of that. They should acknowledge that. You don't always have to fight the battle to win the war. And I think that people should not sort of regard it as something less than a major victory simply because we didn't hit the street. The goal of this in the end is the best contract we can get. I agree, like Rich said, there's more to this, and there was more to it than just the contract and the numbers and the money. But underneath it all, that's really what these things are all about. And if we can carry this kind of momentum into every fight going forward, whether it's in a local level hearing or at the panel or in the next contract in 2028, we are going to keep this company on the ropes, and we are going to kick their ass every day. And it's all going to have started because people got involved in this campaign. And so I think people should pat themselves on the back and keep their heads down and keep plunging ahead and keep fighting.
Rich, shout outs. Who are you shouting out tonight?
I want to give a shout out to the families of the National Negotiating Committee. They had to be without their loved ones for weeks at a time, just send them on a weekend probably to fly back and forth across the country to try their best to improve the lives of working men and women and their families at home. So big shout out to the families.
My shout out, very short and sweet. The public has been more than supportive to us. I love all the customers that have come up to us, and we made national news with this all over the place. Everybody knew about it, so that's nothing to shy away from. Anyways, that's all I got. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.